Hey guys, welcome back to the Science of CBD. This is a bi-weekly podcast sponsored by Twinlab, and we are here every other week to talk about all things related to CBD. That includes full spectrum phytocannabinoids, the legality around CBD, hemp, farm bill, a little bit of everything. As you know, we want to hear from you. So anything that you have questions about, anything, if you like what you are hearing and seeing, make sure to like, comment in the feed below, send us your questions. We absolutely want to hear from you. So really exciting. Today I am joined by David Foreman, and David is a retired pharmacist. He's an accomplished author. He's a college professor. And David, you're on a mission, right? So you are actively working to educate as many people as you can, just kind of on all things health and wellness.
All things health, yeah. It's first of all, it's an honor to be a part of this. It's kind of cool to. I love to share, and hopefully you guys can get me to keep my answers tight, because. Yeah, but
we'll do what we can.
Yeah, my mission really is just to help all of us, be as healthy as we can, achieve that health that you lost, or keep the health you have so you don't lose it. I'm in my mid 50s now, and I see a lot of my friends, having issues going on, and it's all about lifestyle. It's really all about how we live our lifestyle, and so thanks for letting me share today. This is exciting.
So one of the big topics that we want to cover today with you is all around stress.
Never had it. What are you
I don't
talking
believe you.
about? I'm stressed.
Well, then you're really lucky, and I want to know everything that you're doing so I can do the same thing too. It seems like everyone that I talk to, from my family to my friends, everyone's stressed, right? They're running from their job to they got to go pick up their kids to they didn't eat well today and they're mad about that, or they didn't sleep well, or they're not feeling well. Are you
talking about yourself?
I am talking about myself. I have a 1-year-old baby at home, and no, it's absolutely relevant to talk about myself. I work full time. I have a baby at home. I'm married. I try to exercise. I eat well. But you have this feeling of, am I doing things right? Am I doing things well enough? And everyone seems frazzled, and then you complicate things with phones and emails and social media, and how do I lay in bed and turn my brain off at night?
Right.
But no, it's nuts that it almost seems like a new epidemic or something that people are coming down with.
Exactly.
Everyone's exhausted and everyone is stressed. And are you seeing that as well? And why is this happening, and what are some of the signs and the symptoms, and what do we do about it?
Okay. So interesting. Last year I spoke at a huge international conference in Geneva called VitaFoods, and the topic they asked me to speak on was this topic of stress.
Yeah.
It's not just an American thing, it's a global thing.
Yeah.
But here in the US, I wrote an article last year on stress, and there are 40 plus million adult Americans, so 18 and over, that have some sort of stress and anxiety. Only 40% of those people actually seek help for their anxiety or stress.
Is it because, do you think people say that they don't need help, or they don't have a problem, or they'll fix it on their own, or they don't have time? What are the reasons that people aren't seeking?
Well, if you're a guy, you deny it.
Yeah.
That's a sign of weakness, right? No, I think a lot of the reasons are, a lot of the medications that often get prescribed, they're addictive. They cause drowsiness. Last thing you need to do. All right, let's use you as an example.
Yeah.
If you get one of the prescription anti-anxiety medications that causes drowsiness, it's going to make you less functional at your full-time job.
Sure.
It's going to make you even less functional when you get home and it's time to, do your work with the baby, get everything ready. You're going to be less of an effective wife to your husband.
Yeah.
You might be a hazard on driving on the highway.
Yeah.
So I think those are the big reasons why. And you're talking about what negative effects happen from being under stress. Stress affects a hormone in the body called, it causes the body to make a hormone called cortisol. And cortisol is also known as the stress hormone. Yeah. Cortisol is just evil. When your cortisol levels are elevated for a short period of time, it's actually a healthy thing. But for people that are under stress on a daily basis, this has a negative effect on your weight, your blood sugar, your hormones. Like for me, when I went through a horrific divorce, and my stress level was just off the charts, and I remember going to a friend of mine getting some blood work done because I was kind of like her natural health guinea pig, and my cortisol level was off the charts. And there were only other 3 or 4 other things that were messed up. My blood sugar was elevated. my insulin level was elevated, which that's insulin resistance. That comes from high cortisol levels. I started gaining a little weight around the middle.
Yep.
That's from cortisol. My free testosterone level was low. That's all from cortisol. So, all the major health diseases that we have, that we're facing now, cancer, which is the number 2 killer, cardiovascular disease, which is the number 1 killer, diabetes, which I just mentioned. My blood sugar was all messed up. I'm a health freak. Okay.
Yeah.
I eat right. I get my exercise, and yet my blood sugar was elevated. Yet my insulin level was elevated. So stress just wreaks havoc throughout the body.
Yeah.
You can't concentrate. You can't focus. You're ineffective. And it just continues to be this spiral down. And there are ways to get a hold of it. There's just not one bullet out there that, there's not that silver bullet that takes care of it. It's truly about lifestyle.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. What do you think are the causes of all of this stress? Because I get the impression that from myself and from talking to friends and family, it really is just the day-to-day that we're not taking the time for ourselves to just calm and relax, and we are running from one activity to the next, and we are putting a lot of pressure on ourselves, right? Is that what you're saying too?
Yeah, I mean, there's not one thing I think that's universal to everybody. So, you listed off your things.
Yeah.
You didn't mention finances.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that have, you
Yeah.
may, I don't know, right? But
right.
that's another one. Like financial things are you're stressed about your child. I have a 22-year-old that when he was, 15 or 16 went, off the beaten path,
Yeah.
and, so you kind of worry about that. So
I think it's for what I'm interested in. It's almost less about, something that is seriously causing true medical related anxiety, if you will. And it's more about just these everyday things that are causing us just this day-to-day stress. It's life, right? It is
life. It's part of it, right? Yeah, exactly. And that's true. Like I don't think you can run away from it. I love when I say to people, oh no, I don't know anybody that doesn't have stress, and I get that random person that's like, well, I never have stress. I'm like, come on,
right.
Seriously? Like, you don't have a pulse.
Yeah.
But there are lifestyle things that will help mitigate.
Okay, so
that.
what are some of these lifestyle things?
So for years, over 20 years, I've been preaching what I call my 4 pillars of health, and they really are all about lifestyle. So they're diet, which is how we eat, and I'll explain in depth after I go through all 4. So diet, exercise, spirituality, and supplementation. And in my philosophy of health, I feel like you need all 4 of those equally as important as the other to truly have that ultimate health that we're looking for.
Sure.
And so like with diet, we could focus. Let me give an idea of what's negative in our diet that makes your stress worse.
Sure.
Caffeine. And usually when we're stressed
out. Did you see me setting my cup of coffee down as soon as I walked over here?
Yeah, right. So it's all cool. It's all right. But caffeine or any other type of stimulant, people that are on some of the weight loss products out there nowadays, those have stimulants in them. Yeah. So anything stimulant will actually increase your cortisol levels. So you're making the spiral or the wheel go faster. Alcohol, it's another real evil for people. Eating a diet that's higher in those processed, refined, sugar is bad. Starchy carbs are bad. And then people will say, well, then what do I eat? Because America, pretty much, that's America right there, right?
Well, and then when you're stressed, you seem to do more of those things, right? You're tired, so you drink more coffee, or you're exhausted and you don't want to go home and make a meal, so you go home and pick up something that's easy.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, but for me, it always boils down to on my 4 pillars. It's like, well, when you're finally that bad, you'll finally start doing those things. So exercise. There's a ton of clinical research out there on just 30 minutes of brisk walking a day. 150 minutes a week is really like the Heart Association, Cancer Society. Mm-hmm. It helps relieve your stress. And all right, so you're a busy mom. All right, so I'm going to kind of pick on you. Is that cool? All right. And you said you like to work out, so that's different. But there's a lot of people that are watching this video right now, and they're going, "Dude, I don't have 30 minutes to give you in a day." Well, there's research out showing that you can do 3 10-minute intervals. Okay. You take a break at work, stop smoking your cigarettes. They're bad for your stress anyway. Go for a walk. Yeah. You get home from work, put your baby in the stroller, go for a walk. Yeah. And the cool thing is, if you have older kids, let them ride their little tricycles, but get out there and do something and make it as a family thing.
Sure.
You're spending a little more time together. That's a great way to go. So getting more activity or exercise.
Definitely.
Spirituality, this always makes people really uncomfortable. So for me, it'd be like all about prayer. If you're into religion, go that route. Some people don't like the word prayer. I'm cool with that. Call it meditation.
Yeah, right. Whatever you need to do.
Deep breathing. Whatever it is. And then probably the easiest area to start incorporating or changing, because those first 3 areas, learning to eat right, or not learning, but actually doing it. Yeah. Actually getting active. Getting into that, being grounded. Those are kind of challenging for people.
Yeah.
But the easiest area is the 4th area, which are adding dietary supplements. Dietary supplements are re-nourishing the body so that it can deal with the stress you're under. It's not uncrossing the wires that are touching, that are making you stressed, or feel stressed, the daily grind, whatever it is. It's not getting rid of those moments, but they are going to help your body adapt or feel better.
No, that's really interesting. In terms of supplements, are there certain ones that you recommend, or what do you think? Like, where should someone start?
Well,
I'm leading you. I'm more interested in, we've been talking a lot in the podcast about endocannabinoid system and cannabinoids. So I'm interested to see your take on those supplements and how they could help with stress.
Well, it's interesting. Some research. I've been doing a lot of research on the topic of phytocannabinoids. The most popular one, of course, is CBD. Sure. But we now know that it doesn't. You can't just get by with CBD. Like it has to be a full spectrum product that you need to get to really support the body and the way it functions. But it's interesting when I looked at the statistics on who's looking for these phytocannabinoid products. It's the number 1 category is stress. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is people that have trouble sleeping. Mm-hmm. And number 3 is the people that have pain or discomfort. I'm like, okay, well, that's probably the reason is that there's a lot of cool research out there showing that phytocannabinoids help relieve stress. They work on the endocannabinoid system in the body. That is way too heavy for me. I've got like multiple degrees in science, and I'm like, can we come up with some other cool name that's not endocannabinoid?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
So for everybody that's watching, the endocannabinoid system is it's part of your neurotransmitter, or your nervous system. Well, that's the easiest way I think everybody gets nervous system, right? So the endocannabinoids, these are things that your body naturally produces. It binds to a receptor just like in your nervous system, and it makes things happen. Or keeps things that are negative from happening. And so phytocannabinoids are going to feed that system or nourish that system and help your body be able to adapt or deal with the stress. And in the case of phytocannabinoids, they'll work in the central nervous system in the area of the brain called the amygdala, which is the stress center, and help your body basically I like to use the word chillax in my life. Is that too unprofessional for this video?
No, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it helps people chillax. So
you're a little older than someone that I would think would use chillax. I hope you don't.
But I'm super cool. No, wow, I know, right? I gotta start coloring my hair again. I guess I don't know. Get rid of the wrinkles.
I appreciate it though. It's refreshing.
No, seriously, you gotta keep it real for people with health. Health doesn't have to be all scientific and confusing. And the reality is that when you use a full spectrum phytocannabinoid, and hey, if you're lucky to find a company like Twin, they got super smart and like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to throw in some other nutraceutical ingredients. At therapeutic, like what the clinical science has shown those work at, and it's going to help take your edge off, make you feel more comfortable about how you're feeling, less anxious, less stressed out, and you're not going to have the side effects that go along with a lot of the other things that are out there.
In your experience with the research, what doses of the cannabinoids are you seeing that is helping with stress?
So the bare bones beginning is you have to have 25 milligrams of phytocannabinoids.
That's what we're seeing too, so it's interesting to hear your take.
Yeah,
on
so I've been doing a lot of homework on this because as the herbal pharmacist is another one of my things I call myself. It's interesting to me because I want people to get well, and in order for them to get well, they have to take the right amount of these things I'm teaching them about. So people need to look for that. And that's what's really cool about what Twin has done with their formulations. The starting dose is 25 milligrams, and it's cool. It's once a day. Mm-hmm. And then depending on whatever you're, like in the case of stress, there's other things in there that work in other pathways other than the phytocannabinoids to help the body with its stress. Effect. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like 1 + 1 = 4. Yeah.
I like that math.
Yeah, it's good math.
No, that's really cool. answered a lot of my questions around stress, and we want to hear from you guys. So if there's anything else that you want to know around the stress topic and how CBD phytocannabinoids can help any of your just day-to-day common stress issues, we want to hear from you. And we'd also like to hear your personal experience. If you've used cannabinoids to help relieve stress, we want to know about it. We want to know what your experience is and how we can use that to help others as well. So really exciting. I could ask you a million questions. I love
Bring it.
I love just kind of getting your perspective on everything.
Thank you.
It's
Thanks for
very
having me.
Yeah, thanks for teaching us about stress today.
My pleasure.
Thanks.